One of the main reasons for this coordinated global push to develop digital IDs is because it's deemed essential to the entire Sustainable Development Agenda, which is the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, also known as Agenda 2030. And the specific part dealing with digital IDs is within SDG 16, which is about building peaceful and inclusive societies. One of the indicators of SDG 16, 16.9, calls for legal identification for everyone in the world from the time they're born, essentially.
Slavery is not over. Oh, you thought the transatlantic slave trade was over? Okay, well, yeah, that one is, but modern day slavery still exists. And it's not in some far-fetched countries that are outside of the United States. We're talking about right here in the United States, as well as the rest of the world. I'm Rosemarie Havsom, and I'm back again to let you know that you can take full control of your life by what you choose to put at the end of your fork. So let's get into it. Modern day slavery, we've heard of horrible, horrible situations in far-flung places like Dubai and other places in the Middle East. And some parts of Africa, I mean, they're claiming that that happens there as well. But we won't even get into trafficking or anything like that. We're just going to go straight to what's going on at the United Nations and what is being rolled out while the majority of people are being distracted. If you've never heard of Agenda 2030, then I've got some bad news for you. It's coming very, very soon. We don't have much time to advocate for ourselves and our families before this agenda is put into place. And they're starting to roll it out in different pieces across the globe. So for example, what they want to do is very, very diabolical.
We meet for the 20th. I hope I will have the pleasure still to be invited for the meeting. When we meet for the 20th Governance Summit, you will use the app like Uber, but not anymore to call some driver, but automatically guided car, a self-driven car, will come to your hotel or wherever you are and will bring you to the airport. No, Los Angeles is one of the cities with the heaviest traffic, who told me in 2030 Los Angeles will be private car driven free. And this will allow to transform highways into parks and other public spheres.
The number one thing that they want is to have one world order, okay? So one world government is what they call it. They want to have one world bank, okay. They want to also have social credit scores that can determine whether or not you can buy or sell or move about the country or be able to drive a vehicle, let alone have one. And they want to have one world military so that they have a united military front. So it sounds like, okay, the world is trying to move together to galvanize our power and work together. No, it's not that.
We are living in a tyrannical situation where there's only 2 clicks left when you are required to have digital ID to move around and have a life, and when cashless central bank digital currencies are the only way you can buy and sell. At that point, you've lost your freedom. If you follow the breadcrumbs to 2030, anyone can look up the UN 2030 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. By 2030, Britain specifically will have no commercial passenger aircraft leaving the country. You will not be able to leave. There will be no ships leaving the country. You will not own private transport. You will have a digital ID to do everything, and you will only have electronic money with which to transact. I would say at that point you are a slave, and because you can see them coming, you should say no. Say no right now. Stop. The things that are happening are really fantastic, but they go back decades. There's no question that there's been a very long run-up to the level of control that we are going to face if we allow cash to be winked out of existence.
If you're able to really look at it closely and examine what's going on, then you'll see the creeping effect. It's like if you've ever known anything about the woods and you've looked at ivy. If you've ever looked at ivy growing on another tree, or if it's growing on the side of a building, it seems quite regal and beautiful, but it's actually a parasite. But it doesn't even raise alarm bells when you see it on the side of a building because it looks so beautiful. And when you see it on a tree, you think, oh, that's just very pretty too, until years go by and then you see that the tree dies because it's had all of its nutrients sucked out of it. Or you see the damage to a building when they have to remove the ivy coating with construction tools. It's very alarming if you've never seen that. Agenda 2030 is meant to bring in a new world order to keep people safe and secure so that things like the pandemic won't have the same kind of effect of causing panic, worldwide panic, and a disconnected response to it, because everything will be done from one place. But if you see anything that requires any kind of critical thinking, you'll see that what's happening is something a lot more insidious than what they're saying. The digital monopoly, digital money, digital factors for everything that you need to move about. Do you think that that is not anything different from slavery, or do you think it is slavery? The thing that's coming next is digital ID. We've seen that being rolled out into different countries. We've heard about it now in Jamaica in the aftermath, just before the worst hurricane in history, a Category 5, hit Jamaica. We heard their prime minister talking about how Jamaica is primed to be one of the first fully digital countries in the Western Hemisphere.
In the coming weeks and days, I'll be making certain announcements regarding the acceleration of Jamaica's intention to become a fully digital society. We are well on our way to this. We have established the national identification system. We have put in place our digital currency. We have given directions to our ministries to digitalize their operations. Most of our ministries are now moving from paper-based systems to digital systems. Our military is transitioning. The society is moving very quickly, very rapidly to become digital. Our banking consumers are seeing it as well, because the banks are moving very rapidly to digital. You have something now called artificial intelligence. Very soon, this position of a human being exchanging cash and so on, that is going to disappear from the banking system very soon. And you are going to have to interface with machines. I don't want it to be a scary thought, but it is a thought that we...
So if you don't have enough social credits, then if your score is too low, then you will be denied certain privileges and certain services. So maybe you're not allowed to buy any more meat because you've eaten too much meat, real meat, for that week. Maybe you won't be allowed to drive your car, your EV car, because that will be shut off and you will not have access because it will be deactivated because of your social credit score being too low. It's kind of like something out of some sort of a sci-fi episode where everything is based on your social credit score, including your ability to buy or sell. But there's more coming up. With Agenda 2030, they're also talking about being able to force people to take vaccines, because during the pandemic, there was a sizable group of people worldwide who did not subscribe to the panic mentality and the herd mentality to just jump and take a vaccine that was not tested and that was not enough information on. So now, Agenda 2030 says that once you have everything in place with digital ID, then you'll be able to force people to take vaccines. Now, an interesting side note is that people keep talking about Canada like it's a great place to live. But do you know what Canada just did in regards to the vaccine? Because of vaccine reluctance, They have just passed the bill that allows for the testing of an aerosol spraying with vaccines so that people who are vaccine adverse or people who just don't want to take it for whatever reason will then not have to take it because then they'll just inhale it and it will be done. So there's a lot going on that people need to open their eyes to because it's a different kind, a special kind of slavery that's going to be going on, and it started already.
And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth.
This is in relation to some comments that you made on a Facebook page.
You were the witnesses saying, obviously, people, while they're over here, etc., we let them into our country, etc.
A woman has been arrested by Cheshire Police in relation to inaccurate information on social media.
If someone has been caused, obviously, anxiety based upon your social media post. That's the reason why you've been arrested.
In Russia last year, 400 people were arrested for things that they said on social media. How many?
Do you know what's really interesting is that people begged for it. If you recall, after 9/11 and the downing of the Twin Towers, where over 3,000 Americans lost their lives, something came into play, and it was supposed to be anti-terrorism to protect people. So new standards were established for board planes. Whether you want to believe in all of the other stories that are coming out and are now actually being verified or not, the thing to remember is that the programs and the policies that were put into effect to protect the American people have now been used against the American people, because now anything can be considered terrorism. Agenda 2030 wants to make sure that you are a willing participant in your own enslavement, genetically modifying your food, putting farmers out of business, making sure that farmers are under threat of law if they don't use GMO seeds and herbicides and pesticides, and making sure that people are now having infringements on their ability to have their own planted gardens using heirloom seeds. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time.